Yeah, wow. I thought I had it all lined up, and I didn't. It's a Thursday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor Innuendo. I'm of AdFreeShows.com and Podcast Heat Wrestling, but I'm with Mr. Robert Karplus, WD Creative _ish. Robert, happy Thursday to you. Do you feel bloody and gutsy today?
I can feel some blood. I can feel some guts. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Happy to be here with all of you. We'll say hi to the folks joining us in the chat. First, we'll say hi to E, who says, "What's up?"
What's up?
I know. Willie Thornbrew says, "I always thought the point of a cage was to keep people in. Nope. Despite all their rage, they were able to get out of the cage.
Unlike a rat."
Devin Dowling says, "Ayo, Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Connor Ben 2 this Saturday night. 35 years of bad blood between these two families. I'm pumped for it." I got no idea what he's talking about.
Is that a boxing thing?
Dude, I just work here. Dre Owen says, "Hello, R&I. That women's match might have stolen the show last night. Also, did Jericho bury AEW? Yes, he did."
Oh. You want to talk about that real quick, Robert?
We will after we're done saying hello to the folks here.
Okay.
Wrestling Old Head says, rumor and innuendo, bloody marvelous day to you all. Hey, was that an homage to PN News from Willow Nightingale? If so, what a deep cut. You want to be the one to compare her to PN News. That's all you, Wrestling Old Head. I ain't touching that with a 20-foot pole, but I will say hi to Commando, who drops us with a hey, yo. And lastly, Jeff Henninger says, "Hello, R&I. 2 for 2 for bad mornings, and now wondering if Dom owns a hat with my name on it next to the Jets and Pirates." No, Dom is currently wearing his lady who's getting into shape. That headband definitely looks like the girls at the aerobics place waving hi to Marty McFly when he's hanging off the back of the Jeep. Yes, you could definitely jazzercise.
Yeah, let's get down. Let's get down to some Donna Summer, everybody. Well,
no,
you don't want to?
I like you didn't even have it queued up. This is why you're the best.
I didn't even have it. I did. You thought I had Donna Summer ready to go?
I would have been impressed.
That would have been something.
Look, the only wrestling diva, all due respect to the Pointer Sisters, which we don't need to hear the Pointer Sisters, that I love is Shaka Khan, which was Swerve's old theme song, "Ain't Nobody." Wow. What a banger that song was. It's the weirdest. I remember seeing it on the run sheet when we were going through our first show, and they're like, "Here's Swerve's song," and I'm like, "No, seriously, what is his music?" And I'm like, does he do it ironically? And then he came out and dude, place went banana. Loved it. It's an all-timer. It is an all-timer song. And Devin Dowling says, I'm the only boxing fan here. I worked in boxing and somehow was unaware of this. But that's kind of what got me the job at boxing, by the way. When I went and interviewed at Showtime Network, and I was talking about if you guys would do a little bit more of what WWE does. There was a boxer by the name of Ricky Hatton who used to come out to Blue Moon. They would drop the lights blue. There'd be like snowflakes. It was very Glacier-esque. And I was like, I'm all in on this guy simply because of that.
Yeah, I know Ricky Hatton too. That's
he just passed away this year, actually. And today, Beer Miss, the 20-year anniversary of the passing of Eddie Guerrero. A day that I remember being there that day. That was a rough one in the organization. I got to get Marty out of the pen. He wants to come join the fun.
Oh, let's get Marty. We'll get Marty in on the mix here. Also, November 13th is my favorite NFL quarterback's birthday, Vinny Testaverde. He turns 62. Happy birthday to Vinny. I don't know if Robert heard any of that, but yes, favorite all time. Man, didn't know that about Ricky. Yeah, but geez, I tell you what, with Eddie Guerrero, it's what a legacy, and it's
the only Testaverde we celebrate here is Mr. Testaverde from Saved by the Bell,
who was also the guy in the Micro Machines.
He was the Micro Machines guy. It was his gimmick. He talked really, really fast. Devin Dowling says, "Do you have any Eddie stories you could share?" Yes, I'll share one. This one was I was a huge Eddie Guerrero fan, obviously, and at the time that we were working together, it was the Dominic Mysterio stuff, and then him with Batista, which was so friggin' funny. There was a SmackDown taping, and it was an in-ring promo, and it was during the Batista Eddie feud. So Eddie was in there with Teddy Long and Palmer Cannon, the network executive character, and Eddie was doing his promo, and he got lost.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't find his place, and he was going over and over and over on time. And we're like, all right. So someone tries to get one of the folks ringside to cue him and be like, help him. And on mic, in front of an entire arena of people, Eddie just turns to this guy and goes, "You're not helping." Absolutely lost it. Obviously, because it was pre-taped, you're able to cut around it, and that part of it didn't make it on air. But so freaking funny. Like, rather than just like the little like, I see what you're doing. It's like, I'm just going to let everybody know I'm aware that you're aware. I'll get where I need to go, and to hell with you all.
I tell you what, one of the best promos I've ever seen was Eddie's promo to Brock Lesnar before, I believe it was for WrestleMania, where like he opened up about his struggles and everything like that. It was really compelling and really well done. Do you remember that one, Robert? I think that was on
I
SmackDown.
want to say it was before No Way Out. I could be mistaken, but yeah, no, Eddie, the dude was so versatile because he could do it all. We
Mm-hmm.
would use him for the sinister stuff, the funny stuff, the funny sinister stuff. I always love that, kind of like Dom, like Eddie's last match was against Mr. Kennedy, who obviously I have a strong affinity for, having helped bring that character to TV. And he was a heel at him being Eddie, but he was being a fake babyface in this storyline with Batista. So his last match, he technically wrestled as a babyface, even though he was a heel.
Wow.
It's just so funny. Yeah, let's move on to talk about AEW. Oh,
AEW
actually, before
indeed.
we get to that, we can talk about Eddie's cousin Chavo Guerrero.
Correct. Yes. Robert Chavo revealed in an interview with Bill Apter. This is just a straight up quote here. Just re-signed with WWE. I'm helping out with their AAA show. I'm back with them. So Chavo back in the mix. Can't beat that, right, Robert?
Chavo Guerrero, friend of the show, former guest. Yes, Chavo was on before when he was promoting Iron Claw.
Oh.
So I never worked with Chavo Guerrero. I did work with a fellow named Kerwin White.
Oh, that individual. Yes.
That individual. By the way, Closet, one of the best theme songs of all time.
Kerwin White's theme.
The Kerwin White theme is that and the Rob Conway Con Man theme.
Oh my God.
We were obsessed with that theme song to the point where Stephanie sent an email to the writers, stop playing the Con Man theme song in the office.
Look, that was around the time I wasn't watching wrestling because I was in college. So that's all foreign to me. I have to go back and listen to these songs now.
Man, you're killing me. But Blood and Guts was a 2.5 hour spectacular.
Yes.
Brought to you by your friends at All Elite Wrestling. The strangest thing about that show is we talked about it yesterday. They advertised Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
And while both were in the building, only the Dragon made it on television.
Yeah, I thought that to be very peculiar, Robert. Do you think that's a situation involving WWE?
No, I think that's a situation where they suddenly realized, oh my God, we're going to give Ric Flair a live microphone.
Okay. Yeah. Well, before we get to the matches, I guess let's talk about that segment. We had FTR, we had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Stokely Hathaway. And then Ricky almost gets attacked by FTR. But
was that Flair? Flair's calling you?
Flair's giving me the buzz. But Steamboat gets saved by Brody and Bandito. So what do you think of that involvement in there? It broke up a little bit of the show's rhythm, I guess, but I think not in a bad way.
You needed a little bit of a chance for the audience to kind of catch their breath. It was a good nostalgia moment for Steamboat.
Mm-hmm.
It went a little long for my liking. Ricky. I love Ricky. I absolutely adore Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He was the first person outside of my wife to know what my son's name was going to be, which is yes, we had him at the arena when I was working at the Panthers for a pro wrestling night, and he's like, oh, do you have kids? I was like, I have a daughter, I have a son on the way. He's like, well, I want to sign a picture for your son. And I was like, we haven't told anybody the name yet. And he's like, oh, it's all right. You can tell. So you told him his name. He signed it to Max, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It's framed and up on my son's wall. It's like the only piece of wrestling paraphernalia that exists in my house. But I love the Dragon. Loved working with him in WWE. The one thing he is not is a world class promo. And when he started thanking TBS for allowing this to be on television, I was like, Ricky, I love you, but come on, dude.
I don't know though. It's like endearing in a way, in a baby face, like endearing kind of way, I think. So it
He
kind
is.
of works.
He's sweet. It's like someone brought their grandpa out there. What I also love is there are storyline notes that are usually laid out for a promo. So
Mhm.
there's the beats in the promo itself and things the commentator should keep in mind. It clearly said somewhere in there the reminder that Ricky Steamboat had his last match involving FTR.
Mhm.
And Danielson mentioning it 12 seconds before they announced it during the promo was a little bit of like, we probably could have avoided that moment. But
Sure.
it was
Yeah.
a good way to put a babyface in peril, set up Brodito coming out there to get the babyface rub from the Dragon, FTR cutting their standard FTR promo, Stokely having a grand old time. I do like that there was that report that came out that the whole reason Stokely initially got hired in AEW was to be FTR's manager.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know
that
that.
was that's what the reports were saying, and instead he spent a lot of time doing a lot of nothing.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How long was he there before he joined up with FTR? He been there
Several
like 2
years.
years?
He been there for
Yeah,
a
a
couple of
couple
years,
of
yeah,
years
since
at
he
least.
left NXT, and NXT should have been using him in a better capacity. How Stokely
Mhm.
wasn't an authority figure for NXT is beyond me.
Yeah, right?
Or like the agent who's shepherding talent up to the main roster, like stick with me, and I'm going to get you onto Raw or SmackDown. I'm the guy who makes it happen. I'm the wheeler dealer.
Yeah. Well, he's in a good position now with FTR for sure. So, and I like the segment overall, but I agree with you. It was a little long in that realm. But let's talk about those blood and guts matches, Robert.
Sure.
Uh, we kicked off with the women's, and man, it got bloody. We didn't get to see any guts, luckily, but things got out of hand in certain places. I think there was a spot early on where Julia Hart and Sky Blue couldn't find an item that was hidden, like it wasn't planted where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that caused a little awkwardness. But ultimately, I thought the match was pretty fun, and they did some pretty innovative stuff for the first ever women's blood and guts match. What did you think, Robert?
They did, but we talked about it yesterday a little bit that part of the problem with a blood and guts match is when you're doing two on the same show, it's a lot of overkill.
You're
It's a
right.
big stunt spectacular. And in both the women's and the men's blood and guts, there was glass.
Mhm.
And this is personal preference only. I don't like seeing glass in wrestling. It doesn't it doesn't give you a good feeling when you're watching it. It's the same way I feel every year when I watch Die Hard on Christmas and he's walking on the broken glass. It's like that is rough.
Right.
Um, but when you see it twice in one show, it does kind of lose that specialness to it. And when everybody comes out with a weapon, it's kind of funny. A buddy of mine had texted. He's like, "Why don't they just come out with a knife or a bazooka?" And it's like, yes, obviously we get it, but it's a little silly. Starting with blood was also a surprise. That Sky Blue was immediately busted open,
Right.
and again, then you become a little desensitized to it.
Mhm.
It's a little itchy and scratchy.
Yeah, I immediately thought that too. I was like, man, she's got a hell of a crimson mask going, but it's like the show just started. It's like, where do you go from here necessarily? And
Well, yeah, but it was a good spotlight for Sky Blue.
sure,
And Dre Owens says Sky Blue was the star of the match. They made Marina look tough. Marina did look like a killer. That
right,
nail bed spot was a solid spot. The women being able to slip through the holes in the cage when the men couldn't was very funny. Of like commenting on design flaws. I thought that was a nice little touch right there. The lack of consequences for the match does take away from it a little bit.
hmm Like,
The
you mean the stakes so that there's no stipulation
there
or
were no stakes, and they kept kind of using it to promote Full Gear, which was, again, very, very smart. You're going to get an audience of people who are tire kickers who are going to tune in to watch Blood and Guts.
uh
I would venture to guess these would be fantastic for pay-per-view. That you could
Yeah.
do a pay-per-view or an HBO Max exclusive event commercial free, because those commercial breaks do interrupt the flow of the match. I know that there's the international feed, kayfabe, that people can watch where there aren't those breaks. And the best part of the international feed, kayfabe, is there's no commentary, so there's no Excalibur for like 3 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
the creative booking of the match, the idea that a bunch of the women got locked on the outside and they couldn't get in to make the save, and Tony Storm is being held back while Mina Shirakawa is being decimated, and she has to save her tag team partner and ultimately quits. Very, very smart from a narrative standpoint. Very, very smart to hammer home the fact that these two are a team. They are united. They are a sisterhood, not a sisterhood of sin or whatever that other group is called, but they're a sisterhood. And that this was a big advertisement for the women's tag team tournament and Full Gear. Love all
Mhm.
that. Let's get Chris Statlander in there. Let's get Mercedes in there and get Mercedes out so that we're not giving away too much of those two together. Marina Shafir gets to look like a killer, and you don't put her in until the end. Thought that was very, very smart. But when Tony surrendered, on the one hand, you're like, boy, this was a really good idea for a finish. But then you realize, well, of course she submitted. There's no consequences. Yes, there's
Yeah.
bragging rights, but it's like this was Blood and Guts because it was Blood and Guts, which is the same problem you're going to potentially have with War Games, though there are a little bit more personal stakes in, I think, going into War Games than there were, at least in the women's Blood and Guts match.
Sure. Before we move on, are you okay with them finding that loophole of getting out of the cage, even though it kind of takes away from the element of blood and guts?
I mean, as a lawyer, I'm always going to be a fan of people taking advantage of it, and it's their fault. You know, there was a hole, and they plugged it up. And guys,
Oh,
didn't even expect this is where it was going to go.
oh,
But if there's a hole that you want to plug up, can we talk to you about our friends at Blue Chew? Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, this isn't just about performance, it's about your legacy, and nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout, pay $5 shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
yeah. Thank you, Blue Chew. Thank you. All right. Hey, we did have a little bit more of a reprieve in between the two blood and guts matches. We had Hangman Page and Powerhouse Hobbs doing a Falls
Yeah.
Count Anywhere fight. Yes.
To paraphrase Adam Sandler from that Saturday Night Live sketch, who are the ad wizards who came up with this one? We were worried about it in advance. In the let's buffer two huge blood and guts matches with a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yes.
They delivered. They
Mhm.
delivered a great match. This match did everything that we thought it would do. It highlighted that Hobbs is a guy that can absolutely go at a very high level. Hangman is a dude that can adapt depending on who his opponent is, and he's always going to give you a really, really strong match. And it led to promoting the Samoa Joe Hangman Full Gear match. Great. I do think they gave away a lot.
Yeah.
And the big bump that ended this match with him going through all the electrical equipment. If you knew in the main event you were going to be doing a huge bump through a flaming table, why are we doing two sort of variations on the same spot?
Sure. Yeah. At the same time, too, I thought it was funny too that Excalibur called it an electrical table, and that it's that that's like the funny trope with a lot of this wrestling when like they do that and the lights start to flicker. Is that the whole electronic source of the building is all right there?
Yes, that's how buildings work. The entire power source for a huge arena, 30,000 square foot building, is going to be on one small table.
One little
And
table, that's it.
so
It's called the electrical table.
Devin Dowling asked an interesting question. He said, would a normal match have killed the crowd? I kind of believe this match added a different element the cage matches didn't. I think if you
Fair
would have
argument.
booked the right match, you could have absolutely done some sort of a character-driven match that would have kept that audience's attention if it was short and it gave them a little bit of a chance to breathe. I don't think you were going to kill the crowd because Blood and Guts was going to raise that crowd back up. The second Darby's music hit, oh man, here we go, here comes another cage. I do like that the match that was a Falls Count Anywhere match leads to a cage match on pay-per-view. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
real quick too, we had the Jurassic Express get attacked by the Callis family. Little tease that they're going to attack Kenny Omega next week, who I didn't know was going to be here next week, but he is.
Well, they said that everyone knows next week Kenny Omega is going to be there. I was like, well, if you didn't go to the production meeting, you didn't know.
I didn't know.
I sometimes think Tony Khan forgets what's filmed on television and what takes place in backstage conversations.
Curious.
Which, by the way, absolutely happens.
I believe it. I believe
there was one pay-per-view. I don't remember what it was. There was a match we were talking about for weeks, and then realized like the week before the show we forgot to advertise it. Like it never occurred to us that there wasn't and it wasn't a particularly like big match, but it was one of those things where we're going through the card and we're like, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. Have we announced that on television? Oh man, we should probably get a graphic up. Wrestling Old Head says, I'm really digging this Young Buck story. I know where it's headed, and I'm liking the build thus far.
I agree with him. I like it too, Robert.
Just going to sip my coffee then. I didn't say anything. Just taking a nice sip of coffee.
Just sipping my coffee. Having a drink.
I can't wait, by the way, till Hobbs comes back with a stutter. If there's one thing we've learned from the medical world of professional wrestling, when you get electrocuted, you come back with a stutter. Main event, as opposed to a 6-on-6 women's match, 5-on-5. So a lot of entrances, but not as many entrances.
That's correct.
And man, that Death Riders theme song gets repetitive after a while.
Yeah.
It's a part of us all. Part of us all. Part of us all.
Well, what'd you think, Robert? Well, how did this hold up in comparison to the women's Blood and Guts match?
There was a part of me that thought when Mark Briscoe had gotten taken out that it was going to be Roderick Strong that was the person who did it.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't. And it was the Don Callis family in a backstage report brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. But it was a nice way to kind of, yes, the babyfaces had the advantage, but we took the advantage away from them, and they still overcame the odds. And Gabe Kidd suddenly remembered that he was here.
Oh, that guy.
And he's a hired mercenary getting revenge on Darby, who put him in a body bag and drove him away, rolled him up in a blanket, threw him off a bridge.
Yes.
The finish. Don, we've been doing this show for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Crazy.
2 years. Yeah. What do you think I'm going to say about that finish?
I'm saying your Kyle O'Reilly's your new favorite wrestler. No.
We have been watching this Death Riders story for 19 years now.
Yes.
Some of you weren't even born when this Death Riders story started. It started before high definition television was a thing. It was either NTSC or PAL. And listen, pals, if there was going to be someone who was finally going to vanquish Jon Moxley in the main event of a gimmick match to end the Death Riders, end Jon Moxley's reign of terror that saw him murder Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag, that saw him throw Darby Allin down a flight of stairs, that saw him almost kill Hangman Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland, and Will Ospreay. Obviously, if you looked at this roster of stars and legends, the guy you would have picked, the guy that you're saying, let's put the weight of the entire company behind him, you would have said Kyle O'Reilly.
Absolutely.
When I say that I can't take this company seriously, and people get on me, Kyle?
It was unexpected, that's for sure.
It was yes. Anything's unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had Roman Reigns lose to Tozawa. But what was the point of this? And the reason I'm asking, guys, is so Kyle O'Reilly wins. He
Mm-hmm.
makes Moxley submit. Now you're going to have the Death Riders come after Moxley and cannibalize him. Where do you go with Kyle O'Reilly? Is he now your number one contender for your world title? Are you now moving the belt to Joe and then doing Joe and Kyle O'Reilly to main event your next pay-per-view? Is Kyle O'Reilly now your top babyface? He's not even the top babyface in the conglomeration.
Yeah. And like, Robert, the past several weeks, I've appreciated what they've been trying to do with Kyle O'Reilly and like positioning him in certain ways. But like honestly, it's like if you're gonna make him like be a bigger star, you give him mic time, give him some stuff to say. Give
Oh
him
God in heaven, don't give
I
him mic
know,
time.
I know you feel that way, but I mean, if you believe in him to do something like that, then why not do that? They didn't. I mean, like to put him in that position. It's Kyle O'Reilly doing it. Okay, well, I guess more so. I'm just happy the Death Riders thing is finally taking a turn.
So Devin Dowling says this is like Ziggler winning to defeat the Authority. It's not, because the
No.
intent was that they were going to propel Dolph Ziggler to be the top babyface.
Mm-hmm.
There is no world in which Kyle O'Reilly is the top babyface in AEW. And it's not saying that he's not a capable wrestler. He has
Mm-hmm.
not been presented as anything of any particular significance in the last several years.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
no one,
exactly. That's what I mean.
there's no one clamoring for big dream matches involving Kyle O'Reilly. It doesn't step things up. The only scenario that I see is that this is what's going to lead to the O'Reilly Roderick Strong split, and then we're going to get these guys wrestling each other, or you're building up Kyle O'Reilly to feed him to a returning MJF. Either one of those are kind of lackluster. Everything, any direction with that is kind of lackluster. I think this was an opportunity. You could have had Darby be the one to make Moxley submit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the Gabe Kid interference in the situation, putting him through the flaming table, meant a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I think you could have absolutely had Gabe Kid return next week, kind of like when Hunter excommunicated Sean from DX, and then they brought in Waltman.
Right. Right.
It's a little strange.
A little funky. Yeah. And yeah, just what do they do next though? Because it's like I could imagine what you said too. Like Roderick Strong maybe turns his back, and if he becomes part of the Death Riders, then you're having Roderick Strong and Claudio maybe team up against
Well,
Kyle
because you have
O'Reilly.
Roderick Strong with his wife.
Yeah.
So, but if that was the case, that would have happened a long time ago. It's kind of the straining credibility thing you have when like Renee Paquette's running around like backstage to find out what happened to Mark Briscoe, hoping he's going to make it out there for the match to go murder her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with Wrestling Old. Yeah, he said, I thought Roderick was going to turn at Blood and Guts. I did too. I assumed that was where this was going. The fact that Mark Briscoe got attacked by an unseen assailant, and then just for it to be like, oh, no, it was members of the Don Callis family.
That's all it was.
They were rescued. They were rescued by Mo. Like, okay.
Leaderboard.
Yes, let's go to the leaderboard. The leaderboard shows that at the end of Blood and Guts, nothing happened. Company is pretty much still exactly the same. It was a fine 2.5-hour spite store. This was definitely the Larry David spite store situation of we're going to give you War Games, but for free, like 2 weeks before. So don't tune into the ESPN Plus show.
Don't worry.
Except that's not really like it doesn't go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
If WWE tries to steal AEW's thunder, they're cheating people out of spending $50 on a pay-per-view. If AEW tries to steal WWE's thunder, people already subscribe to, whatever, the ESPN Unlimited app.
For $30.
What, are they just going to not click on it?
Yeah.
That'll show them. It's a weird decision, and then you just wind up drawing comparisons.
Yeah. I think it like the women's match I thought was a lot of fun. I'm with you in the camp of like Glass is way too much for me, and it's a personal preference of mine as well. But I thought what they did with it made sense for the match. But yeah, ultimately it's like make it different than the other show. Don't worry about the other show, and I don't know. It's like 2 War Games matches, or it's going to be 4 War Games matches in total within the span of a month, Robert.
It is going to be a lot of war games, and we'll be here to cover all of it.
Yes.
Dom will be joining you tomorrow and Monday with a special guest co-host. I don't know if you're announcing that now or it's just going to be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise.
What a deal. It'll be a surprise to Dom. That's why I love Dom. I will be vacationing for my 15-year wedding anniversary, so going on a cruise.
Yeah.
Well, Frank Costanza there. It's going to be it's not a Jericho cruise.
Are you guys going to tune in live, you and Rachel together? Going to watch us?
Possibly, if depending on the Wi-Fi situation on the ship. Yes, I will definitely be tuning in. And what I learned before is if I drop comments in, Dom forgets to read them on air.
I do. Yes.
And then I find myself yelling at the screen anyway. It's very. I'm like, not even that, just in general, like hearing some of your takes, and I'm like, what? But you can catch Dom and all of his wacky antics every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including WWCreative_ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, ad-free shows, and podcast heat. So glad to be leaving the show in such good hands for the next few days. I'll be back on Tuesday. Dom will be here Friday and Monday. So on behalf of the most jazzercise co-host in all of professional wrestling podcasting, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm the next Richard Simmons. See you guys.